Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
And there you are. Welcome in. It is a brand new live Monday edition of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond, 7 o'clock on the dot, and we are back at it for another full week. 256-576-4977. That's how you can join the program on said Monday morning. We get you started with a little recap from the weekend, especially when it comes to SEC basketball. And if you look at SEC basketball from over the weekend, this is how everything played out. Tennessee at home got a win over Texas A&M, 86-51. South Carolina on the road, a winner at Ole Miss, 72-59. 24th ranked Florida at home over Vanderbilt, 77-64. Arkansas dispatches Missouri, 88-73. Keeps Missouri winless in the league. Mississippi State 20 better than LSU on the road, 87-67. As for the in-state foes, 14th ranked Auburn goes on the road, gets a win over Georgia, 97-76. This one was close midway through the second half. Auburn put the gas pedal down late, pulls away for that one, 97-76. And then 17th ranked Kentucky, a 117-95 winner over 13th ranked Alabama, 117-95 inside Rupp. We'll hear from Nate Oates in a little bit, but tough day for Alabama on the road.
It was, and I sort of anticipated it. I knew Kentucky would certainly be playing with a lot of intensity and focus after the disappointment when they didn't finish against LSU on the road. And Alabama is not a good defensive basketball team, neither is Kentucky. Alabama scored 95 points, probably played C+, B- on offense, but they were an F on defense. Didn't guard anybody, could have given up 130 if Kentucky had continued to play their starters. They just didn't play with any intensity on that end of the floor, didn't play with any nearly enough effort. And, again, when you don't guard and you're playing against, 4 or 5 potential first-round draft choices and other guys that are going to develop into pros should they stay at Kentucky. I mean, I've said it before, Kentucky's extremely talented. They're extremely athletic, and they're capable of putting together a game like that if you don't guard, and they certainly did. Justin Edwards was perfect. He did his Christian Laettner impersonation, didn't miss a shot from the field. And, I mean, you're not going to beat a team of the talent level of a Kentucky playing that kind of defense. And Alabama didn't play much at all. And, and again, they competed at times in the game. But, look, they allowed Kentucky to get way too comfortable. And I know at one point in time Kentucky was 10 of 15 from the three-point line. And when someone's shooting that well, Kentucky played to the peak of their efficiency. Right. I mean, they played as well as they can play, and they showed what they can do. And they showed that they're more than capable of making a run in March if they stay focused and do the little things and execute. And Alabama allowed that and got smoked, and now they've got a big week coming up. They're tied for first in the SEC. A&M is done. I'll just go ahead and call it that. They will not be in the NCAA tournament. They have basically quit on Buzz Williams. That was a horrendous effort again, just like they got smoked by Alabama on the road. They get smoked by Tennessee. If they're going to give those kind of efforts on the road, they're not going to win enough games to get into the NCAA tournament. They may end up in the NIT.
Yeah, but Joe Lunardi put Texas A&M yesterday as one of his first 4 out. So they are trending. I mean, in the last week, they went from a last 4 bye to a last 4 in to a first 4 out.
Well, they're going to keep falling.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it. There's 4 games left in this league, and I don't see A&M getting enough wins to get into the NCAA tournament. I think Ole Miss it's a huge game with Alabama coming up on Wednesday. They are falling down the the totem pole. Now Mississippi State's ascending. I thought that was a huge win for them. They went on the road to LSU, and LSU is coming off that Kentucky win, and also had had 2 straight big wins in a row. Had LSU, and then they, including at South Kakalaki, but they came apart and were soundly whipped by Mississippi State. And I think Mississippi State is the one right now that's ascending up the charts, and I think the SEC's got a good shot at getting 7 teams in.
That's what yesterday Lenardi put 7 for the league.
8 or 9 is going to be very tough to get because Ole Miss didn't play a very good out-of-conference schedule, and they're going to have to get some wins down the stretch, including against Alabama. I think that's a must-win. Now, if Alabama wants to win the SEC, in my opinion, that's a must-win for them. They need to go 3-1 in their last 4. They need to win at Ole Miss. They need to win at home against the Vomits. They need to get a split with the Florida Arkansas, and they should beat Arkansas at home, in my opinion.
You would think.
And so Florida is going to be very difficult to win. Now, it's not impossible, especially if they get Latrell Wrightsell back, which I think they're hopefully going to have him back at Ole Miss. But if Alabama can go 3-1 and win 3 of those games, and one of them's Tennessee, I still think that would be Tennessee's 4th loss, and they would have split with them. And Tennessee's got some tough games left too. I still think
they have Auburn on Wednesday.
Yeah, but that is in Thompson-Boling Arena. But I still think Alabama will have a shot to win the league. Now, of course, they control their own destiny. If they win all 4, of course they win it. But I just know that it's going to be a tough task because they play some good teams. And I've said the whole time, I think if they could go 3-1, that they could win the league at 14-4.
Here's Nate Oates after the loss on Saturday.
I told our guys after the game, we've had question marks about our defense all year. Those question marks are completely erased. Everybody knows that we don't really guard at this point because I thought our effort stunk. I mean, part of the issue was we turned it over. They scored 29 points off our 16 turnovers, so you can't turn the ball over that much. Our starting backcourt had too many turnovers. We need to do a better job attacking them, taking care of the ball. But, we had us for giving up 16 points in transition, not including the points off turnovers. So you take the 29 points off turnovers, 16 other points in transition, all of a sudden you're at 45 points before you even give your half-court defense a chance to get a stop. And then once they got on the half-court, I didn't think we were that great in the area either. So, and Kentucky shot the ball pretty well. They were the team that's supposed to be able to shoot, and they shot it twice because we did. They gave up 54% from 3. We gave up 63% from the field. And any kind of decent defense was played in the last 8 minutes when I thought the game was already over, when I'm guessing Kentucky probably was coasting to the end. So there's not a whole lot of positives about this. The only positive thing is we played well enough on offense through the course of the year to be tied for first place after that horrendous effort. So we got four games left, and we got to try to figure out how to get these guys a little more motivated to play harder on defense.
As Nate Oates after the loss to Kentucky. Going into that one, Alabama was 77th in defensive efficiency in KenPom. They fall down to number 97 now. They are the best offensive team in the country, is Alabama offensively. Defensively, they slipped down there a little bit. Kentucky is 8th. Kentucky going in has still had the 8th best offense. Now their defense is holding steady at number 77. They held at 77. They didn't slip after the win over Alabama. By the way, in case you are wondering, Tennessee going into the weekend, or coming into Sunday, barring a change from the Auburn game, will come to Tuscaloosa with the 21st best offense and the 2nd best defense in the country, according to KenPom. So different contrasting styles still between Alabama and Tennessee. I know they still have games before that, but just some different styles before that matchup in Coleman.
Yep, Alabama's going to have to play with a lot more toughness on the defensive end and rebounding the ball, or they'll get smoked by Tennessee again. They're going to have to play with a toughness and to beat Ole Miss on the road. Now,
Yeah.
South Carolina just smacked Ole Miss to come back from their 2-game losing streak by 13. But South Carolina does play with a lot of physicality. Now, Alabama handled South Carolina, and blew them out in Coleman. But again, we'll see what happens against Tennessee. And by the way, College Game Day is coming. And no, I had Alabama fans ask me, are they going to cancel now that Alabama got blown out by Kentucky? No, they're not going to cancel Game Day.
No.
They announced that for a reason. So, Alabama just didn't play well. They kind of fell at a bad time to play Kentucky. They probably would have been better to play Kentucky earlier in the year when they were in the conference play, when they were going through some of those struggles that they were going through. But, they got DJ Wagner back. They still don't have Trey Mitchell. Now, we'll see if they get him back. He was in street clothes. But they certainly didn't need him on Saturday. You heard Nate Oates say it. I mean, they shot 63% from the field and I think 54% from three. I mean, you're not going to beat anybody with them shooting like that and not putting up much resistance. Alabama shot it well, overall, but, and again, they scored 95 points. But and they won the rebounding battle by 2, but there wasn't a lot of rebounds to get. I mean, hell, there were shots going in everywhere. And so that in that kind of game, so that's kind of overrated. Now, the live ball turnovers were bad for Alabama. You heard Nate Oates mention it. Kentucky really took full advantage of that out in the open floor and to get a lot of points off turnovers. So Alabama's got to take care of the basketball. But I will say this, Lenardi didn't even drop him a seed line, still has him a 3. And so they have everything in front of them. If they take care of business in the 4 games, they win the conference. Not going to be easy by any stretch because their last 4 at Ole Miss coming up Wednesday. We talked about Tennessee and Game Day on Saturday. And then they turn around and they go to Florida the next week, and then they end at home against Arkansas. So they'll have a shot to win it. And luckily for them, everybody else has got to play each other. So Tennessee doesn't have an easy road. Tennessee has to go to South Carolina and, of course, has already lost at home to the Gamecocks. And with that win on the road at Ole Miss, even South Carolina is not out of this. They've only got 4 losses, and they, the only thing with them is they wouldn't have the tiebreaker over Alabama.
Right.
So Alabama honestly needs Tennessee to lose twice. They need to beat the Vols, and then they need the Vols to drop another game. But we'll see if that happens because Tennessee has a tough schedule, but they do get Kentucky the last game of the regular season at home,
and
Thompson
is at home this week.
Yeah, and
well.
Auburn's
so
at home,
big ones
Kentucky's
are
at home. Yeah, and then they have to go to Alabama. And then they have to go to South Carolina. So Tennessee's got some tough games, but they've got a pretty favorable schedule considering, as you said, Auburn and Kentucky are at home.
Not only does Joe Lenardi have Alabama as a 3 seed, they are the top 3 seed right now.
Yeah.
They are the 9th listed as the top 15. They have Alabama as number 9, so that would put them as the top 3 seed. Kansas, by the way, is the bottom 2 seed at number 8.
Yeah.
Auburn is the top 4 seed at number 13, and Duke is the bottom 3 seed at number 12.
And I'm glad you brought up Duke because I've got a little rant to go on here.
Yeah,
they have
court
to
storming.
get rid of the court storming.
Yes.
Michael Casagrande, Avail.com, who has been a long-time beat writer for Alabama, now covers the SEC. As he said on his Twitter account, it's such BS, and I totally agree with him here. If a student or some idiot comes into contact with a player and touches them, they ought to be able to turn around and cold cock the kid. And that is in reference
to the Duke-Wake Forest game on Saturday where Duke star
Kyle Flipikowski
gets basically attacked by students from Wake Forest trying to leave the court and gets injured. He is Duke's best player.
One of their best
top
players,
best
no
players.
Doubt.
Gets injured in a court storming incident. This is not the first time we've seen this year.
Right.
It does raise the question. It was cute. It was all nice and fun when we saw in the beginning, but now it's becoming
too dangerous.
It's becoming a dangerous
because
situation.
These peckerheads, they want to get up in people's faces and yell and scream, and then if they make physical contact, it should be on from that point forward. You should be able to beat the piss out of the kid and have nothing happen to you. I mean, I don't give a damn if his daddy's a millionaire and he can say he's going to sue or whatever.
Yeah.
You come into contact, you get your ass kicked. That's the way it should be. You know what I'm saying? Because you have no business, first of all, being out there. And second of all, you don't get in people's personal space and attack somebody. Because then it's called self-defense. You defend yourself, you kick the kid's teeth out, too damn bad. Okay? I wouldn't feel one bit damn sorry for him. And if it was my kid, I'd be like, your ass shouldn't have been out there. Shut up and go to the dentist. Okay? You shouldn't be getting in people's face and everything else, acting like a jackass.
Right.
So,
No,
I agree.
I agree.
What they've got to start doing is
hiring real security people.
That and getting on the PA and being like, look, you will not go on the floor until the officials and the players and coaches have exited the facility and are off the court. If you do, you will never be allowed in this gymnasium or this arena for the rest of the season.
There it is. It was just on the
I'm saying?
dumb TV on the bottom. They're talking about it. I mean,
You know.
what do you do? What do you do? I mean, because the thing is we talk about home court advantage, and a lot of teams like putting their students right there down on the court because it creates a great environment for college basketball. It does. It does. Now, though, these course tournaments, it's great access for the students. We don't want to move them. We want to keep them there. I mean, that's what the environment is for. I mean, what do you ultimately do? Do you say, okay, guess what? We're going to take away we're going to make you –
Jimmy Dykes had an interesting thought. I mean, he's been doing a lot of these games. I mean, I know the prevailing thought has been that teams get fined $250,000 either in football or basketball or whatever. He says to fine them at least $500,000. He says then you
crank up the fine.
Yeah, you crank up the fine. Then it really, especially some of these schools, $500,000 is really going to hurt. And so, to me, I mean, I don't give a damn. I mean, look, man, you have to probably either sign up or you have to, electronically get yourself in. But my point is this: if you run out on the floor, and I'm just saying before the players and the coaches all get a chance and the officials to get off the floor, if anybody crosses a certain line, to me, you're done. You're not allowed back in the arena at least for a year, if not for the rest of your college career as a student. That would
what about not back in school?
Well, I mean, I don't know if you kick them out of school for that, but again, I think maybe you kick them out of the arena, and then if they can't ever come back to a game, then maybe that'll wake some people up to the point of, look, you can run out onto the floor after these. It's just like if you were taking a final exam and some idiots decided to run through your classroom while you're trying to concentrate and finish an academic thing, you wouldn't appreciate it.
Right.
These players and officials and coaches don't appreciate it when you run across the floor and you could even injure your own player. Okay, because half the time you're not even watching where you're going and you're acting like an idiot. So, in other words, you got to put some parameters in place to keep this from happening where somebody's going to get hurt. I mean, if Flipikowski had torn his ACL, he could turn around and sue Wake Forest, he and his family, for the injury. Like, I'm suing your ass because you may have cost me income to go into the NBA.
Well, and Jimmy Lay put this. Jimmy Lay is sending us a text, mail.com. And I saw this over the weekend as well. What if you have to forfeit that home game? Like let's say Wake Forest would have to forfeit the Duke home game next year, and Duke plays Wake Forest twice at Cameron.
Yeah, I mean, you could. He also talked about maybe plexiglass like hockey, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah.
I mean,
what if you lose a home game? What if you have to forfeit that home game?
What if you just have to
year?
forfeit the game you just won? You know what I'm saying? Then maybe some dumbasses wouldn't run out on the floor because then you just forfeited and it may cost you an NCAA tournament bid. So I'm just saying they can stop this crap. They can stop it. I mean, the NC Double Dumb and some of these other.
Well, they're toothless now. We'll talk about that.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it's going to have to be the conferences themselves. But if the conferences can get together and they can stop this garbage from happening. I mean, I don't mind the students being on the floor. They need to make it a great environment.
Right.
But you don't need to be running out on the floor. It's not your damn place to be. You know, that's where the players are supposed to be. Stop acting like a bunch of dumbasses and run it out on the floor like a bunch of idiots. You're doing it anyway because you didn't expect to win because you suck. So you're running out there, oh, my God, we won a game. Well, act like you've been there before.
All right.
You numb nuts.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, more college basketball conversation plus college football conversation. The NCAA is toothless. Let the wild, 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 wild west really begin now. We'll explain it all when we return.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning. Got a wreck in Hartselle now, 31 northbound at 36. I don't think it's going to be an injury type. And we got a stall indicator at 6th and 14th. They may still be trying to clear. And we're expecting paving today southbound on the causeway and across the Hudson Memorial Bridge. Be ready for some one-lane traffic there. D&L Refrigeration repairs heating and air conditioning units for homes and businesses. D&L 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
March Madness begins in the Rocket City as the Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships come to the Von Braun Center March 12th through the 16th as 9 teams look to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Lock in your seat for all the tournament action now and get the best seats available to be right on top of the action. And thanks to our friends at Dave & Buster's and Main Event, we have Power Passes available and 4-pack single session tickets available now that include $60 in savings. For more information, visit VonBraunCenter.com or visit the VBC box office.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Coralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Coralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
From heirloom diamonds to contemporary jewels, Loring & Company is the place to find something truly special. Whether shopping for a diamond ring for that once-in-a-lifetime occasion or marking a milestone birthday or personal achievement with a Rolex watch, you'll find just the thing in our edit of the world's most sought-after brands, including David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Marco Bicego, and Fopay. Expect a treasure trove of the world's most unique, even breathtaking earrings, rings, necklaces, and bracelets, making choosing just one piece a challenge in itself. Loring & Company Jewelers on Airport Road.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond, 724 on a Monday morning. Safe travels into work, into school, wherever you go. Yeah, we're watching it now on TV. 256-576-4977. We recapped a little college basketball and then also threw in the court storming issues that are arising now in college basketball. A few incidences over the season have kind of tainted what is a celebration for the students, but it's becoming a hazard for everything in college basketball. Let's go out to the phone lines. Mark from Spring Hill is with us. Good morning, Mark.
Hey, morning, guys. Morning. Hey, I was just looking at y'all were talking about. I was looking like which team has the best shot of winning the SEC. Tennessee's got 4 teams that they play that are all ranked in the top 25. They're the only one that does. Alabama's got 2, and of course that's Tennessee and Florida. The team, for some reason, that I think is going to come out of nowhere and win it is Auburn. And because the reason I say that, they play Georgia again at home. If you pull up Auburn's schedule, they got Tennessee at Tennessee. I know that coming up. I think that's the next game. I would say if they beat Tennessee there, I don't know. There's something about Auburn. Y'all know I'm a big Bama fan, but Alabama to win championships, I think this is any sport, maybe even tiddlywinks. You better play defense, and that's the one thing Alabama cannot do, has not done. And I like Tennessee in terms of going the furthest in the maybe in the tournament. I was gonna get y'all's thoughts on that. Can y'all name a team other than Loyola Marymount back when Wimp Sanderson was there that could do like Alabama does, and is get down there, shoot within 10 seconds, and hope that you hit a 3, they hit a 2, you hit a 3, they hit a 2, and you outscore them. Has anyone been successful other than Loyola Marymount? And that's what Alabama runs.
Well, Kentucky's probably very similar to Alabama. They gave up 95 on Saturday, and they've had trouble guarding all year. They probably had their best defensive game against Auburn with their win at Auburn, but certainly, I would agree. I think Alabama definitely has defensive deficiencies. They have to play with more intensity on that side of the floor. Now, one of the keys is Alabama, to me, has to make shots, and they have to. They're kind of like an NBA team. They have to have a 5, 6, 7 minute stretch where they do defend and where they can separate. And they never could separate against Kentucky. Matter of fact, they just dug a hole. And
they also attempted their fewest. Alabama attempted their
6
fewest
17
3-pointers of the season. In the loss Saturday.
Yeah, they did.
So that tells you Kentucky did a good job of forcing Alabama off their spots on the line.
And Alabama was still able to get to the rim. They were able to get to the rim against Kentucky, but Kentucky shot it so well from 3, and really just the whole thing. And Alabama turned it over too much. If Alabama had been more efficient on offense and not turned it over, Rylan Griffin went 2 for 8 from 3, and most of those were wide open. Say he goes 6 for 8, then the game's totally different, and then it's a close game. It's one of these. Mark it's interesting. Mark mentioned Loyola Marymount. It probably would have been a dang 110 to 107 type game if that had happened. If Alabama had been a little bit more efficient. But
both of them, like we said, came in offensively efficient numbers in the top 10. Alabama was number 1. Kentucky was number 8.
I do agree with him in a way with Auburn, because Auburn, their schedule going down the stretch is advantageous besides having to go to Tennessee. Going to Tennessee is not going to be easy for Auburn. Tennessee is very, very good.
And they still may be without Jalen Williams still.
Yeah, but then they host Mississippi State, who's a really good team, has already beat Auburn, but Auburn gets them in Neville, which is going to be to Auburn's advantage. And then Auburn goes to Missouri. Missouri has not won a game in the league. And then you finish at home, against Georgia. So I do think Auburn should definitely be watched. If they can win at Tennessee, Mark is right. They could sneak in there and get it, because they split with Alabama, and Alabama's got a tough stretch too. Auburn has a pretty easy 4-game stretch if they beat the Vols, but beating Tennessee is going to be very difficult, in my opinion, especially, as you said, if they don't have Jalen Williams, because Tennessee is also playing for a conference championship. So I do think if Auburn loses the game at Tennessee, I don't see them winning the regular season, but they got a shot. But they got to play well against the Vols in Thompson Bowling Arena.
Thanks for the phone.
And guys, I was going to bring up, I appreciate what you guys do. I just want to say that this is a great show. Both of y'all have a lot of wisdom, and it's just, I know a lot of people that don't call personally that I know that get a lot of satisfaction from listening to this show. And I just appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good day.
All right, thanks,
Thank you,
Mark.
Mark.
All right, who we got, Bailey? Okay, let's go to Jeremy. I didn't hear that when we said Jeremy. I know we got Richard as well, but let's go to Jeremy first.
What's up,
Good morning, Jeremy.
Good morning, guys. Look, I just got to disagree with Mark on one thing. I don't think Auburn's going to be a surprise because when they're already picked, they're the one team in the SEC that the nation's already picked to win the national championship. I mean, they had the greater odds than anybody else. Them and Tennessee were the two teams that everybody was talking about. But I also want to say this, like SEC regular season basketball championship, like winning the SEC in the regular season, to me, I feel like it's pointless because the tournaments where you get your seeding, the tournaments where you got to get hot. I mean, you could go in, you could Auburn can limp in these 4 games, and then go into the SEC tournament and run the floor, and they're the greatest team in the SEC. So Alabama could do the same thing. Tennessee could do the same thing. I think the tournaments where you gotta really get it together, because I mean that's you're out. You know, you lose, you're gone, and then you have to sit there and depend on somebody sitting in a room somewhere to make the decision whether or not you're going to be in a tournament or not.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I agree.
You know, the SEC tournament, we kind of talked about it last week, Jeremy. It's going to be wide open. You know, even with South Carolina, if they can right themselves, I think they're a very dangerous team, and they started to do that, winning on the road at Ole Miss. It would be a big weekend for somebody like Mississippi State, who I think is going to get in, but you know, they will probably still be one of those near the bubble kind of teams. They certainly don't need to go out early. And then a team like Ole Miss, and then Texas A&M, teams like that, they're gonna have to win multiple games by then. They're gonna have to win multiple games, no question about it. But again, I just think overall when you look at it, Auburn does have an advantageous schedule. They're gonna have to beat Tennessee though, and to me that's going to be difficult if they don't have Jalen Williams. We don't know that yet.
Right.
And if and they don't have and it's at Thompson Bowling. I mean, it's just they don't. Now, if the game was at Neville, I would think maybe Auburn could pull this off.
Tennessee 13-1 by the way at home this year.
Yeah.
4-5 in quad one.
South Carolina is the only one that shocked me and beat them there. So
Right.
I mean, but if Auburn does beat Tennessee, then they've got a very, very good chance because the other 3 they're going to be huge favorites.
All right, Jeremy, thanks for the phone call, but I hate to do it, but we got to get to a break. We got to get one in here real fast. We'll go back out to the phone lines when we return. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect to sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures are expected to fall into the upper 50s for the overnight. Heading into your Tuesday, a few isolated showers going to be possible mainly in the morning. We'll see mostly clouds throughout the rest of the day. High temperatures going to be topping out in the mid-70s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 35 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
At a wreck in Hartselle at 31 and 36 with some northbound blockage, and they were working with a stall 6th Avenue and 14th in Decatur. We've got paving planned today southbound on the causeway and also on the Hudson Memorial Bridge. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. If you need cardiac care, you need the Heart Doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the North Parkway Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
If you're looking to get a new car, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive. Sure, you love your old car, but you know it's not normal to give instructions on how to open the window. It should be self-explanatory, but it's not. And notice how when you're in other people's cars, you can feel cushion in the seats? That's pretty nice, right? No, it's just normal. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and put the savings toward a new car. It's time. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked the reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an vital organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
The route and run. Oh, yeah. Wasn't as much as I liked 22, but we almost got to 122, and most of you ever give it up. We almost got there, but 117's enough. It's the most Quaker Oats has ever given up in his 5 years at Bama. This is Chef in the Burrow. Drew, how about them Dukies, huh? How about them Dukies against Wake Forest? I got the coach up here and coach of one of our high schools. He played with the big fundamental. I know you don't know who that is. You've never heard of him because you don't watch the NBA. But I'll give you a little hint. He wore number 21. You can go back and look in your dictionary, your computer, if you got one. And how about Cyril and Roebuck? He had a pretty good game. When he was trapped there on the sidelines, he just stayed there about 30 minutes if I was over there. He would have never got out. He'd had to have a 50% off coupon to get out. Cyril and Roebuck would have. And where did Quaker Oats get his jacket? I guess it was the house of Sanderson and Mulkey. Can I help you? Sanderson and Mulkey apparel. So guess he got that another ugly jacket from Mr. Oates. But y'all got Ole Miss who y'all got Tuesday. So y'all try to get better, and Tennessee maybe will tie you up tonight. And I heard they're coming to Coleman finally. Well, did you finally get hoops finally come game day? Well, great for y'all, isn't it? It's about time. Well, Kentucky rolls as usual. That's why Cal's in the Hall of Fame, and Quaker Oats is just in his world trying to get a nut.
Yep. Jeff with more wisdom for everybody, forgetting that Alabama was up 44 last year on the Wildcats. Not 2, not 4, not 6, not 8. 44 when they called off the Dogs, and they beat them 78-52. Beat the ever-loving piss out of the Wildcats. And guess what? Alabama's playing for an SEC championship. Kentucky's not, because they've already choked their way out of contention. And they're going to get their ass kicked some more before the end of the regular season. You can mark it down in ink. They're going to go to Tennessee and get the ever-loving snot beat out of them and get swept by the Big Orange Nation. And I know who Tim Duncan is, the big fundamental played in the 90s when the NBA was watchable. And, of course, he didn't play at Kentucky because he actually wanted to probably develop and not, be paid to play, considering that Kentucky is the cheatingest program in SEC basketball history. They may also be the winningest, and they're a blue blood, but they are the cheatingest. Just ask Chris Mills. Just ask Racist Rupp. Just ask some other people. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to win the argument, Jeff, because I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, I'm paid for my opinions, and you're a schmuck. You're a coward, and you're a piece of trash. And everybody's loving what I'm saying right now because you're a scumbag. Call in, you turd. I dare you.
Yeah. He's resorted to leaving voicemails.
Because he's a turd. Call in, you coward.
Richard's calling in. Good morning, Richard.
I'm scared to go now.
Oh, no.
I'm going to get the last word. I'll rip his throat out. If he ever comes to me in person, he won't have any teeth that he's got. But he's a coward. He'd never come and say anything to my face because he's a coward. Come get it, Jeff. I'm not hard to find. You want some? Come get it.
Hey, at least he learned not to send cash through FedEx, though. They've learned that, though. They've learned that. One thing on the court storming, and actually Jimmy Dykes added one more. He said have the fine go back to the school for their NIL fund.
Oh, yeah. So
that I agree with that. That's another good one.
So like Wake Forest would have given
then what's Kentucky
going to
do then?
Duke.
What are they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, well, the one thing is I think a lot of these schools, though, I think they want them to storm the court.
Oh, I think so. It gets them attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
and I don't mind it per se, but they need to allow the students, as far as in the student athletes, they need to allow for that was me beating the hell out of Jeff.
We just saw the Cam Newton fight this weekend.
But I mean,
one thing about
go ahead, Richard. But they just need to let the coaches and players and the officials get off the floor.
Yeah, I mean, and even if Filikowski, swings at the guy, like 10 people would have jumped him out. I mean, like I said, though, I think most of these schools don't want to enforce it because, I mean, you could put up a temporary fence with a minute to go with security, around the student section but in, I mean, football too. I mean, you think about the Alabama-Auburn game this year.
Yeah.
If that pass is incomplete.
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, it's just not safe. I mean, like you said, they have, kind of like Vanderbilt a couple of years ago. If you remember how they came down orderly after the game, like single file.
Yeah.
Which is kind of silly. But I mean, if you want to get on the court, it's like you're saying, wait 2 minutes. But usually the players are shaking hands. A lot of these players know each other and are shaking, especially nowadays with the transfer portal. Half these guys played against the same team the year before.
We're watching videos of court storming, and you see the security or lack of security in a lot of these situations where half of them are just standing there watching them.
I was just watching
by.
the Wake Forest for the 15th time, and this guy was waving people onto the floor.
Yeah. Well, because I think at that point, security turns into more of let's make sure the students don't get hurt coming down to the court, because that would be even worse if you could have a situation
and again, what
where
I'm
they
saying
get trampled.
Is, and as I've said at the start of the show, if you come into contact with a student athlete, then that student athlete should be able to defend himself. It's self-defense. But I just think you need to get your ass on the PA. You need to have some security in place and say, look, you can storm the court, but you had better allow these officials and these players and these coaches to get off the floor. Allow 5 minutes, and then your retard ass can get out there and run around and act like a jackass all you want.
I mean, how many times have you seen a coach go on a PA after somebody in the stands throws a cup on the floor?
Exactly.
They're about to give them a technical.
Right.
I mean, I think you don't see as many people. I guess they do sell bottles. I know, like at Tuscaloosa, they do.
Yeah.
But I mean, you used to see coaches grab the microphone all the time, because they said the next time it happens, we're going to access a technical.
Mm-hmm.
On there. Or that's another thing too is the next game, let whoever you're playing against, have 4 or 5 technical foul, shots to start the game.
Or even like I said, Richard, if you do storm it before you give the officials and the players and the coaches a chance to get off the floor, you forfeit the game.
Yep. One thing is,
that'll stop
Jeremy just called about the conference championship, and I want to win it for Alabama, but I don't know if you saw that South Florida won the AAC yesterday.
I did not see that.
But they basically played all the great teams once, except one team they played twice.
Right.
I mean, so the one thing is the Big 12 used to be a round robin, which is not anymore. But with these super conferences, realistically, you could luck in, sort of like what Georgia's done to win the East several times when everybody in the East was bad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, in basketball, South Florida basically has won the conference by playing an easy schedule the conference gave them.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and realistically, you could see that in the SEC going forward with adding these 2 teams.
Yeah, you talk about adding Texas and Oklahoma, certainly.
I mean, if Alabama, we do play Auburn twice. We'll play, in history we played State, and I guess LSU twice.
Mm-hmm.
But if we played, Tennessee once, Kentucky once, Texas once.
Kentucky's praying we only play them once because they certainly don't want to come to Coleman Coliseum and get their ass eviscerated.
But I mean, if you played Vandy twice, Georgia twice, this year Missouri and Arkansas twice, you could have wrapped the conference up if the SEC gave you that schedule.
Mm-hmm.
To where without a true round robin, you could have some teams. So I think who won the ACC last year?
The Duke won the tournament, and I believe I want to say was it Miami.
Was it? I mean, it was like I know, like Clemson. Some of these teams had the real, they'd given them an easy schedule, and they weren't even in the tournament, but were leading the conference.
Yeah. I mean, I was, but the thing is because I know Duke won the ACC tournament and they played well and ended up going out in the round of 32 to Tennessee. Tennessee ended up putting the Devils out.
Virginia
did win it?
Yeah, looks like, let's see here. It was Virginia and Duke, looks like last year.
Okay. I couldn't remember. Miami had a good team. Yeah, because UNC missed the tournament. Yeah, go ahead.
One thing about playing
Duke
defense,
won
I
it,
think
my bad.
only one team ranked like
tournament.
40th in KenPom defense has ever won the NCAA tournament, but usually you have to be in the top 20. I think outside of that one team, if you're not in the top 20 in defense, historically, you're not going to win the NCAA tournament.
Right, and right now Alabama sits at 97.
They're not getting there unless they hold teams to 0. So,
they sit at 97. Your top Houston right now is the best defensive team according to KenPom. Auburn, by the way, is number 5. Tennessee is number 2 according to KenPom. If Alabama had Auburn's defensive KenPom rating, they would be unstoppable. They're number 1 in offense, and they would, defensively, that's where they're.
But I was half right in the ACC, Richard. It was Miami and Virginia that won the regular season. Duke won the tournament.
Yes, Duke got hot down the stretch. All right, Richard, thanks for the phone call.
Later.
All right, 7:48. Let's get a break in. When we come back, we will finish it up with phone calls.
And remember.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
They should be about clear on that wreck. 31 northbound at 36. That one was in Hartselle. Had to stall at 6th Avenue and 14th indicator that should be taken care of now. And we're looking for paving on the causeway today. They're going to be working on the southbound side. That'll include the causeway and the Hudson Memorial Bridge headed southbound into Decatur. You could lose up to 4 sizes in 4 weeks with the 2030 Fast Track Weight Loss Program. Find out more at 2030huntsville.com. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
At Bryant Bank, we recognize your time is valuable, and easy, secure access to your finances is essential. That's why we provide the financial tools you need to manage your money on the go and make life a bit easier. At Bryant Bank, we're here to help with instant debit cards, Apple Pay, person-to-person payments, and more. Bryant bankers want to show you how beneficial our digital banking services can be. Learn more at bryantbank.com. Bryant Bank. Live legendary. Member FDIC.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Oh, safe to say we've shown up today. 52 minutes into our extravaganza here on a Monday. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Let's finish hour number 1 up with some more phone calls. Brandon is with us. Good morning, Brandon.
Morning, Brandon.
Morning. Well, is there anybody that didn't fight Cam Newton this weekend?
That was crazy. I couldn't believe when I saw that.
7-on-7 in Georgia goes awry.
I've already heard about the craziness of some of these 7-on-7 tournaments.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have a lot of security.
From
either,
what
man.
I understand, it was two teams that it was, I don't know. Two teams had a heated match, a heated game. Words were exchanged even before the game. It got out of hand. It spilled over after the game. And there were a bunch of people that were escorted out, including Cam Newton, from that 7-on-7.
Yeah.
That was some hilarious crap. I was watching that, and I thought, only Cam Newton.
At first, I didn't even think it was legit. I thought somebody was joking or something like that. And then I watched it. I was like, wait a minute. That's a crazy-looking hat. I said, I think that is Cam Newton fighting.
But he didn't lose his
dudes.
hat, though.
I know.
The hat never came off.
I was like, wow, Cam's actually fighting 3 people. I'm like, these 7-on-7 tournaments get heated.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, they don't have consistent officiating. They allow too much histrionic talking and all that crap. There's not enough strict rules where they.
It was like a $5,000 prize or something like that for the winning team. Or
exactly,
something.
Man. You've got to have some sort of rules. There's got to be rules in place and even some security. You can't allow things like that to go on.
When was the last time Alabama scored 95 or more and lost a game?
That's a great question. It would probably be in the CM Newton era, and I'm not taking a shot at Coach, the late CM Newton, the late great, because there was a lot of free-flowing offense back in the 70s, especially with the Ernie and Bernie show, Bernard King and Ernie Grunfeld. And that's somewhere where Jeff probably wouldn't know his ass from his elbow, is the Ernie and Bernie show. I'll forget more about basketball than that turd will ever know. But anyway, and of course, Kentucky was loaded back in those days with Macy and Goose Givens and all those guys, and there was a lot of high scoring games, man, and there was a lot of great basketball, and again, and credit to Kentucky. I said all week that was going to be a tough game for Alabama, and it was.
Hey, give Jeff a little credit. He knows Burton, Ernie.
Yeah, he's certainly a clown.
Well, I watched that game, and I just felt like that we had a couple players out there that looked like screen doors on defense.
Oh, yeah, the whole team didn't defend, yeah.
And I just hate to see them play ball like that, score 95 and lose.
Oh, I know.
That's just something
didn't play
you
well
shouldn't
at all.
do.
Yep, and Kentucky had a lot to do with that.
I'm enjoying the voicemails. It's kind of like Tales from the Crypt, only worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all remember that show.
Oh, yeah.
But it's funny that Jeff turned it into his own personal voicemail line. Just hilarious stuff. And, Scott, did you see the video of feeding the buffalo? Is that something we're interested in doing when we go to Wisconsin?
I don't know too many buffalo up there in Wisconsin.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know too many.
It's a wildlife preserve. It's called Rustic Deer Park or something, and they've got wolves. Yeah. They've got deer. They've got buffalo. They've got grizzly bears. They've got it all.
I don't know about feeding the buffalo. But I will say this, the 117 that Alabama did give up is the third most that they've ever given up.
122 is the record. I thought Kentucky was going to get it.
122 against Southern Cal back in 1970.
Yeah.
They gave up 121 at Auburn in 1970.
See?
And then the 117 was against Vanderbilt in 67.
Yeah.
So you're right. There's the free-flowing.
Yeah, it was.
All right, Brandon, thanks for the phone call,
man.
bud. Yeah. We are really short. Can we get Ellis in real fast? All right, quickly, Ellis.
What's up, Ellis?
Not much. Hey, Drew, if
Yes,
you'll
sir.
get me out of jail, I got to go to Murfreesboro Friday and do some work, and I'll find jail.
I'd pay to see that. Just go up and just pour a bottle of water over his head or something.
Yeah, we'll keep it clean.
Yeah.
Just be like, hey, this is Ellis, this is from Drew, and just pour a bottle of water over his friggin' head.
Yeah. The Stutterbox himself.
Yeah, there you go.
No, we've got to get the hour break in.
Thank you, Ellis.
Thanks, Ellis.
Might take you up on that, man. Just
when we come back, Travis Reier will help us sort out the loss at Kentucky. And we'll start looking ahead to spring football for Alabama. A lot to get to with Travis Reier coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Free air-chilled boneless chicken breasts and 4 juicy boneless pork chops with your order. OmahaSteaks.com/VSiN. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Closing in on March Madness, Connecticut a plus 400 favorite to win the national title, followed by Houston and Purdue at plus 700, Arizona plus 1,200. Major League Baseball spring training in full swing. The Dodgers enter the season as the favorite to win the World Series at plus 375, with Atlanta the second among betting favorites at plus 550. The defending World Series champion Houston Astros check in at plus 800, with the Yankees at plus 900. Aaron Judge a plus 550 favorite to win the MVP, with Juan Soto at plus 600, Corey Seager plus 850, and Jordan Alvarez plus 900. Julio Rodriguez plus 1,000 to win the MVP. Get the latest lines and more at vsin.com.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
It is hour 2 of Talkin' Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. 60 more minutes of fun here on a Monday morning. Safe travels into work, into school, if you are still making your way there. Traffic can be a little hectic at this time, so just safe travels. Take it slow. Take it easy. Alabama looking to rebound this week. They will do so on the basketball court on Wednesday when they travel for yet another road game. This time they will take on Ole Miss. And it's the road conference games that have given Alabama the most fits this season. A loss at Auburn didn't look, that was a tough one. The loss at Kentucky was a tough one.
They've been blown out 4 times.
Tennessee was the road conference games have been tough for Alabama, and they got another one coming up on Wednesday.
Yeah, as you said, and then they got blown out on a quote-unquote neutral floor by Arizona. It wasn't quite as bad as the Tennessee debacle, but
right.
And Kentucky, but they've been blown out, and Auburn got them. They've responded every time. We'll see if they respond this time. We're going to discuss that and more with the longtime senior analyst since 2003 for BamaOnline.com, now part of On3 Sports, Travis Reier. He also oversees their YouTube channel. A lot to discuss because Alabama's going to start spring practice next week, so that will definitely be, dissected. Basketball down the stretch, trying to win the SEC. The Alabama women get a huge win over Mississippi State at home last night. They're trying to make an NCAA tournament run, and then strong starts from baseball and softball. A lot to be discussed. Travis, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Well, okay, before we start the Alabama discussion, I've got to get your thoughts on this court storming thing. You've seen some. I even talked about one at Alabama back in 2002 when Petway made the layup. Nothing bad happening now. It's one of the only few I can ever remember in basketball for Alabama. But there seems as though something's got to be done with this, though, because there's the Caitlin Clarks, the Flipikowskis, some of these players and coaches, officials, they're being put in harm's way.
They are, and it's mostly been lip service to this point. I know conferences like the SEC have taken the fine approach in terms of financial penalties, but it doesn't seem to dissuade what we continue to see. You saw it from LSU following the win over Kentucky here most recently. I think it was a $100,000 fine. But, with the money being what it is these days, that's something that, it's almost a marketing tool, right?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about,
as far as what you're able to sell to your fan base or prospective athletes, recruits, things like that. And I don't know the answer. I don't know. I'm sure you don't want to sing too where you're physically handling people.
Yeah.
To keep them off the floor, but I'm not exactly sure. If there almost has to be like a netting that you put around the playing surface or something. I don't know. It's rough. And in all seriousness, you see a player the caliber of Filipowski injured as a result of this, and now you're compromising potentially a team's chances in terms of its ceiling with the NCAA tournament and just what it's able to accomplish in general.
Well, we go back to Saturday. Alabama traveled to Kentucky. We knew going in it was going to be tough. Alabama was already shorthanded because of Latrell Wrightsell being out, and then you add the fact that the suspension gives you 2 players. I think they were down to ended up 9 scholarship players. You knew it was going to be a tough one. Kentucky was itching to get after the loss to LSU. But a lot of Alabama's deficiencies reared their head again on Saturday, and it starts on the defensive side.
It does. They turn the ball over too much, too, at least by their standards. They give up 29 points off turnovers. I think it was 16 in the first half alone. And they weren't nearly good enough defensively. Give Kentucky a lot of credit. You talk about shooting the basketball at a high level. If I'm a Kentucky fan, I'm somewhat frustrated, actually.
Where's that
been?
Yeah.
This is what this team is truly capable of. This wasn't sort of some pesky underdog that played way over its head. I mean, Justin Edwards goes 10 for 10 from the field. He's not going to do that every night, obviously, but you get the combination of Edwards and Reeves, and then also what you get off the bench from Kentucky. I mean, you're bringing guys like Dillingham off the bench and Big Z off the bench. Guys like that. And so it's obviously a very talented team, but unfortunately for Alabama, they kind of got a first-hand account of what this Kentucky team is capable of. But no, it's kind of been the same thing for Alabama all year. I know you can talk about the defensive end, but they are who they are, and they have been for a long time on the defensive end. So, it's still going to be a matter of whether or not, first of all, it always comes back to matchups and draw with the NCAA tournament. So that's where it starts, and then it's, if you shoot it well and you score it the first weekend, can you carry that over into the second weekend, especially as you anticipate the competition ramping up? And at some point, though, you're going to have to be able to get some stops, even if it's situational, even if it's at critical junctures. And, that'll probably be what ultimately defines this team.
Well, and Travis, you look at their schedule. This is a big one at Ole Miss on Wednesday. To me, they've got to get this game if they want to have a chance to win the regular season. I think at minimum they've got to go 3-1, and one of those has to be Tennessee. And then they may need a little help too, certainly with the Vols losing again, which isn't out of the question. And then we talked about Auburn's schedule. Auburn's, besides the trip to Tennessee, is very advantageous, but Alabama still with everything basically in front of them.
They do. You have Tennessee on your home floor, and as you alluded to earlier, we've seen some rough road outings from this team and then return to Coleman and play pretty well. We saw it with the 1-2 with Tennessee and then back home against Auburn in that 2-game stretch earlier in the season. So they're capable, there's no doubt, but you're right. Wednesday night in Oxford, critical, necessary for this team if it is going to win another SEC regular season title under Nate Oates. And you look at Ole Miss struggling right now, lost a couple in a row, including a home game over the weekend to a South Carolina team that I was sort of anticipating maybe starting to fade after what we had seen previously from the Gamecocks, but credit to them. They go on the road. Ole Miss offensively challenged, I guess, one way to put it. So, if Alabama can get this game even into the 70s, into the 80s, even as inefficient and insufficient as they've been defensively, they should have a great chance of getting a road win that they absolutely need.
And it could help if Alabama could. And I don't know. Do you know the status? Have we heard anything on Latrell Wrightsell?
There was optimism, I think, going into the Kentucky game that he might be available, understanding the kind of injury he has and the timeline that's typically involved, and also that all of these can be different and are different, and how people respond to them is obviously different. I'm going to guess there's going to be, barring a setback, growing optimism about his availability going into the upcoming week. And, they really need him. I don't know how much he truly could have helped in the face of what they saw at Rupp Arena on Saturday afternoon, but there's no question he's sort of a catalyst in some ways for who they are in terms of identity and maybe some additional toughness in how he plays the game to go along with, you know, his ability to knock down shots.
Yeah, no doubt, and certainly I know Wagee had basically fallen out of the rotation, but you'd have another big as well available to you. You never know, and you know the disappointing part of the Kentucky game was, you know, they didn't get enough. I didn't think out of Jaron Stevenson or Sam Walters. They needed those guys to step up, like we saw Walters step up, you know, in their win earlier in the week against Florida. And again, that I still think that maybe of their final 4 games, the trip to Florida may be the toughest, though, as some people have pointed out to me, if you have Latrell Wrightsell available against Florida, that may be you know, a big factor.
Yeah, because that's going to be more of an offensive game.
Yeah.
I still go with Tennessee as the toughest, even though that game's in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, because of the style, yeah.
I think, yeah, the size. And I think Tennessee feels like, at least this year, they kind of have Alabama's number. You know, that they're, and that'll go back to how the game's officiated with Tennessee. You know, Tennessee can play defensively the way it wants, into you and sort of bully you and force you off that 3-point line and then make it size, pay dividends there, bucket. It could be. Alabama's been so good at home and looks like a different team a lot of times. Regardless of the opposition, you have to take that into account as well. But, yeah, I think Wrightsell, again, he's part of what makes this team what it is, and that has to do in large part with it being an older team. So when you don't have him, you essentially replace him in the starting lineup with a reclassified freshman in Jaron Stevenson. And then you want to push Sam Walters probably a little bit earlier. I thought it looked a little big for on Saturday in terms of how he played and a little bit rat trap at times. You know, they were up 22-20, I think, when they made those subs, and they brought 3 freshmen on the floor. And from that point forward, not that it was all associated with the young players, but when Kentucky subbed with Dillingham and some of those guys, it went on a 28-9 run. So, you know, having Wrightsell back could, you know, keep that rotation tight enough that maybe you're not pushing some guys into some spots and some big minutes where you otherwise wouldn't.
You're talking to Travis Schreier, senior analyst, PMOnline.com. Now, to flip to the other side of the hoops, and that's the women. They get a big win. Aaliyah Nye has 8 threes, ties the school record. Sarah Ashley Barker with 20 more. She's had a tremendous year. This is the last week of the regular season. They get Florida at home and then at Texas A&M. If Alabama's 23-8, if they get those wins, are they in the NCAA tournament?
Yes, I think they're in. I think they're in a great spot right now, and those are 2 very winnable games for Alabama. Florida has struggled of late. A&M still going through some renovation pains, I guess you could say, following the coaching change a couple of years ago. So I think Alabama's in great shape. And kind of like the men's team, they're a fun team to watch because they can score it.
Oh, yeah.
And especially when Nye and Barker get it going, that is their dynamic duo. And that is the duo that will take them as far as they're going to go this season. They have limitations in some other ways for sure. Still not sure they're good enough on the ball consistently enough to go a couple of rounds into the tournament. But they're also one of those teams because of how they can score it, because they have that veteran presence, not only in terms of offensive production, but just in what Barker can do, take charges, you know, going to be the toughest player on the floor most nights. And then Nye is so skilled. If they can get the ball into the paint off the bounce and find her on the perimeter, she's going to knock down shots. So, fun team to watch.
Baseball-wise, new head coach Rob Vaughn, still perfect in his coaching debut for the Tide. They get a sweep of Valparaiso over the weekend. Now 17th ranked in the country, 8-0, off to a fine start.
Yeah, between baseball and softball, pretty good start in terms of record. As we know, it's going to get a lot tougher from here.
Yeah.
You go Manhattan, you go Valpo. The Middle Tennessee win, that's a nice win. Then you get into UAB here midweek, and then you go to Texas, I guess, for the Frisco Classic, where you're looking at the likes of Dallas Baptist and Arizona to go along with Indiana. So sort of a gradual ramp up as you get closer to SEC play down the road. A weekend series with Lipscomb should be favorable coming up here in a couple of weekends. And then, as we know, Tennessee visits Tuscaloosa to start SEC play. So still trying to sort through some things with this team, but I think Rob Vaughn has shown you he's going to do a nice job. They have some pieces in place. You saw more of the power here of late. Riley Quick, obviously a big loss in terms of his injury to the pitching staff, but outstanding freshman in Justin LeBron. He's off to a 4.44 start at the plate. Gage Miller, TJ McCants, the Ole Miss transfer, has been what they've needed him to be to this point. I mean, they've got 5 pretty much everyday guys hitting 400 or better right now. So, as is the case, though, in college baseball with pretty much every team, pitching staff, weekend starters, pitching depth, as you look ahead, I think at the top of the rotation, you obviously feel good about what they're going to have there, and also to close it out in games with Alton Davis. But how that sort of fills in between all of that's going to be critical to their chances, big picture wise.
Yeah, no question about that. And then softball, they have a 5-0 weekend over in Birmingham. Some big crowds. They haven't really been tested yet, but they have new pieces. Caleb Beaver is settling into the number 1 role, it looks like, on the pitching staff. And then some development from Dirtzer, Giles, some younger players that played a little bit last year, Travis, but are taking on bigger roles.
They are, and you've got the sort of staples like Kinley Cahalan and doing her thing, and Bailey Dowling and Hevelin and
Jenna
Pruitt,
Johnson.
Yeah, Jenna Johnson's been what you'd hope she would be to this point of the season. But, yeah, Dukeshire with the 4 home runs, 20 RBI, you really like to see that. Hevelin with 14 RBIs. But it's a pitching game, as we know. And so the hope is that Caleb Beaver continues to be that presence atop that rotation. Jayla Torrance has done some good things too. What you like, or I like, about this pitching staff to this point is the strikeouts to walks. Because offensively, this could still be a challenged team as they get more into the legitimate competition on the schedule with an emphasis on the SEC. So they're going to have to field it at a very high level, and they're going to have to avoid free base runners in the form of walks, errors, those type of things, because still not convinced they're going to win many slugfests. But Kayla Beaver right now looks like she's going to be counted on and trusted to throw a lot of strikes. You're going to have to play to contact behind her more than what you were used to with Montana Fouts, for sure. But if you can play clean and keep the walks to a minimum, I think you got a chance.
And now, real quickly, what is your couple of position battles, spring football-wise? It's going to start next week under Kalen DeBoer that you're going to be watching the closest, Travis.
Quarterback. No, I'm just kidding. For now,
kidding.
I mean, why not just fire that up? Right?
Of course.
Right out the bat. No, in all seriousness, who's going to protect the quarterback? Who's going to protect Jalen Milroe?
Right.
Who's going to step forward at offensive tackle? Is it going to be one of those second-year tackles? Is it going to be a Miles McVay? Is it going to be a Wilkin Formby? Or is it going to be a veteran like an Elijah Pritchett who had a chance a year ago to take that step? Wasn't quite ready. Maybe he is now. Maybe they have evaluated some other linemen that we saw more so inside the last year or two that we see get a shot at the tackle position. So offensively, I don't know how it can be any other position but offensive tackle. So that's where I'll go on that side of the ball. And then just the secondary in general, wherever you want to go in the secondary, you can pretty much have a question. Other than Malachi Moore, obviously you bring in Keon Sabb because you feel like he can plug in at a safety position as well. But Damani Jackson coming in from SC, you would hope is going to be one of those guys at corner. But you've got a lot of things to figure out. And fortunately, you've got some talented newcomers as a part of that early enrollee crop that you brought in even for bowl practices back in December. So Peyton Woodyard, you've got Xavier Brown, Zay Mincy, those kind of guys I think are going to be fascinating to watch early on.
No question. Well, as we just covered the full gamut with Travis Ryer, senior analyst for BamaOnline.com. Travis, let everybody know they can continue to follow BamaOnline.com as you guys cover everything we just went over from the Alabama perspective.
Yeah, just head over to BamaOnline.com. Check in with us on the Roundtable, our premium message board there at BamaOnline.com. Everything we know as we know it, you're going to know it as well right there on the Roundtable at BamaOnline.com. And then we have our new YouTube channel for BOL. So check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to the Bama Online YouTube channel. Hit that like button for us if you don't mind. Turn on those notifications. You'll get all of our content as it drops on YouTube right there.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get a break in. More Talking Ball and we return. 256-576-4977.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck in Morgan County near Kateka, Highway 36 and Red Oak Road. That's east of 67. That one is being reported as an injury type. That's our only working accident. Everything else seems to be clear this morning. You be careful. Maybe we can keep it that way for the rest of the ride in. Snelling can help you with the accounting and office professional staffing you need. Snelling, how the area's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
March Madness begins in the Rocket City as the Conference USA Men's and Women's Basketball Championships come to the Von Braun Center March 12th through the 16th as 9 teams look to punch their ticket to the NCAA tournament. Lock in your seat for all the tournament action now and get the best seats available to be right on top of the action. And thanks to our friends at Dave & Buster's and Main Event, we have Power Passes available in 4-pack single session tickets available now that include $60 in savings. For more information, visit VonBraunCenter.com or visit the VBC box office.
Did you know that Valley Equipment Rental also specializes in day and weekend rentals to homeowners? The weekend rentals is by far the best deal that they offer. If you pick up after 2 on a Friday or anytime Saturday morning, it's not due in until Monday morning before 8 a.m. for a one-day charge. For a small fee, Valley can even haul anything they carry. Valley has extremely experienced and knowledgeable staff that can help you decide what size machine you need or what type of machine you need to get your job done like a pro. They have all the big items that the contractors need for their jobs, but they also carry the small tools that can help you with your DIY project. More importantly, Valley is locally owned and operated, which means when you have an issue, you can get someone on it right away, right here in the Valley. Heck, ask for Ross Roberts, the owner, if you like. Try calling one of the big box national outlets and ask for the owner. That's if you could even get through the automation. Buy local. Buy Valley Equipment Rental. Valley Equipment Rental has 2 locations, one on the North and South Parkway. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
The best place to get 50s diner-style homemade delectables is Bubby's Diner. Located at 8412 Whitesburg Drive Southeast, try their all-new expanded breakfast menu with homemade waffles, omelets, and shrimp and grits. With 3 generations of experience, Chris Bubby Belcher has the best burgers in town. Don't forget to leave without a homemade pie or a hand-spun milkshake. Give Bubby's a call today at 256-513-8080. Bubby's Diner, home of the donut burger.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
I'm here today with Dr. Tracy Lowry of Varicosity Vein Center. Now, how does someone suspect they have vein issues?
The most common symptoms
associated with vein issues include leg heaviness, aching, and swelling, with some patients having visible veins as well. Vein issues can be easily diagnosed using ultrasound, with treatments performed as an outpatient using the latest minimally invasive techniques. Diagnosis and treatment is covered by most insurances. Both men and women have vein issues, though men may be more likely to ignore their symptoms when they're playing golf or walking the stadium steps. They too will benefit from correction of their vein problem. Patients can contact our clinics in Huntsville and new clinics in Madison and Coleman at 256-715-7151 or visit us at VeracosityVeinCenter.com.
Veracity Vein Center, Alabama's premier vein center.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
Welcome back. Talking about 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. Happy Monday morning. Hope everybody's feeling good this morning. We've done our part to do your part to make you feel good, make you feel all fine on a Monday, 25 on a Monday morning. 256-576-4977. You want to join the program, you want to join the show, feel free to do so. Coming up here, starting today, starting in, let's see here, 35 minutes.
Yeah, you're talking about the Final Four.
The Final Four gets underway at the BJCC, the 104th edition of the Final Four. And you know what?
In Birmingham.
AL.Dumb put out an article reliving the 2004.
And that was one game I didn't see. Like, I wasn't there for that game.
So in 2003, 2003, Bob Jones played for the title against John Carroll. I could have sworn that year, too, and then they put like a couple of the biggest attended games.
Right.
I could have sworn, and I was there on the court for that 2003 game. I could have sworn it was full that day as well. And I could be wrong.
I remember them saying it was because it was a great game too.
Yes,
because John Carroll came back and won. Yeah.
Yeah, John Carroll still had everyone from the 2004 team, and it was Fernandez, Lockett, part of that Bob Jones team.
Yep.
Keegan Bell, I believe, was a 8th grader, or
he was a young player.
He was a young player on that Bob Jones team. I remember that Bob Jones team, and I could have sworn that the BJCC was near full or full for that game as well. They didn't list it as one of the top attended games in state history, but I could have sworn it was. I could be wrong, but I remember looking up in the 2003 title game and seeing the BJCC pretty much full that day. It was one of the few times that I've ever been there that they've opened up everything in the arena.
And the one guy that was a great player, in Fernandez was, and he's still a great mentor in our community. But don't forget Jordan Howell, who ended up playing at Tennessee.
That's right.
He was a great guard on that team. That Bob Jones team won the Huntsville City Classic. It was the Huntsville Times back in those days under Dan Bell, and they were a great, great team. They were one of the, I guess if you want to have that list of one of the best teams that didn't win the state championship in our community's history, that Bob Jones team would be near the top of that list. They
were the first Bob Jones team ever to make it to the
finals. Yeah, and of course, about 8 years later, Levi Randolph and those guys in Reggie, they won it in 2010. But it's just one of those things, man. They had a great, great basketball team and nearly beat Damari Carroll and Ronald Steele, and then those guys went on to beat that Parker team, that all Birmingham final that was absolutely sold out. I mean, and again, that's the way it goes as far as seating at the state tournament. You get there, you can stay there all day. You don't have to leave. They don't really have sessions, and so when you come in and you come in for the 9 o'clock game, you can stay till the end.
Yeah,
you can stay all the way to the end. A lot of people did that. A lot of people were there early to see that game, and it was a great, great game. And Maurice Ford did in 2020 finally get his state championship at Fairfield. He's going to be competing for one this year against the defending champion Valley in 5A. But there's going to be a lot of great basketball starting today, and we're going to talk to Craig McGill of Skyline here in a few minutes. Skyline is the last 1A game today at 1:30 as his Vikings are looking. It's amazing. I was looking at the all-time history. I don't think Skyline's ever won a state championship, which surprises me because they have quite a rich history in basketball.
Brian Bellamy helped.
Hey, he certainly did before going on to Barry.
Yep. So Marion County and Keith will kick things off at 9 a.m. in 1A girls. Covenant Christian and Calhoun will play at 10:30 in 1A boys. Spring Garden, Elba at noon in 1A girls. And then, as you mentioned, Skyline, Georgiana at 1:30. Mars Hill girls will play at 3 o'clock against Cold Springs. The Eider girls will play at 6 o'clock against Laverne. And then
It's pretty much all North Alabama and 2A girls, man.
Yeah, and then Mars Hill boys will play at 4:30 against Locust Fork. And then Lafayette will play against
I learned
Highland.
that the hard way. It's Lafayette.
Yeah,
Are you going to get your? Are you talking about getting curb stomped?
That's how you can tell, though, someone that doesn't know basketball in the state when they look at it and they'll say,
if they say Lafayette, you're in trouble.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
You're in big trouble. You better not be near somebody from Lafayette. I'm just telling you.
It is Lafayette, and I remember that the first time I ever. They're like, make sure you say Lafayette, and I'm going. Wait a minute, it looks like Lafayette. And they're like, no, it's Lafayette. No. They got Highland home at 7:30.
You better say Lafayette.
You better say
the plumbers better say Lafayette.
Well, the plumbers, oh my God. I looked at the lineup and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. I mean, seriously. They're paying people to do games that have never done games all year.
I'm just saying.
Anyway, that's all right.
They probably stormed the court. Oh, Lord.
That's giving them too much
Hey, by the
credit.
way, is it good if you score 50 points?
It depends. It depends.
I mean, come on, Brandon Fusel. Speaking of somebody that, one of the great athletes and, and playing at a great program that's going to be in the Final Four, Brett Self and Gunnersville are going to be in that 5A Final Four. But good Lord, what a game he had on Saturday, Scott.
For Montevallo.
Yeah, he's a freshman at Montevallo with Tyson Sexton of Scottsboro. And I just wanted to make sure I got the stat line right for what he shot because it's pretty amazing. One of the all-timers. He plays 39 minutes. He goes 16 of 23, 6 threes, didn't miss a free throw, scores 50 points with 3 assists as they beat a pretty good West Florida team, honestly. And they win 91-83 at home. And Tyson Sexton had 15 in his own right.
Tyson Sexton from
65 of the friggin' 91 are by a couple of freshmen from North Alabama. That's pretty good.
They're going to be good. All right, and you mentioned Gunnersville. They will play on Wednesday against Viger at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
The Scottsboro girls will play Wednesday at 6 o'clock. We'll run down more of that lineup, and we will call Craig McGill. We've paid the phone bill. We're going to use it.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Monday night, expect to sit under a mostly cloudy sky. Low temperatures are expected to fall into the upper 50s for the overnight. Heading into your Tuesday, a few isolated showers going to be possible mainly in the morning. We'll see mostly clouds throughout the rest of the day. High temperatures going to be topping out in the mid-70s for the afternoon. We could also see gusty winds as high as 35 miles per hour. I'm Fox 54 meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a report of a 5-car accident on 231 north of Grimwood. They are running that one as an injury type. And we got one in Morgan County in the Kateka area, 36 near Red Oak Road. That's east of 67. That one's also reported as an injury type. No hose, no mask. You can ask Dr. Sandman, that's Dr. Sandlin, for the medically proven benefits of the Somnodent for sleep apnea and for snoring. Dr. Sandlin, 350-CARE. there. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance. sportsbettingalliance.org.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing, we have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates, residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
The new favorite place for delicious Mexican food is Corralejos Mexican Grill in Huntsville. Check out their reviews on Facebook and you'll see what people are raving about. Enjoy drink specials all day Monday through Thursday, like house margaritas for $3.99 and 12-ounce drafts for $2. Even vegan-friendly entrees on Monday starting at $5. Corralejos Mexican Grill, 1658 Old Monrovia Road in Huntsville. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram to stay updated on their specials.
Welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. And I watched a smidgen of college basketball yesterday. A smidgen. And it was the St. John's Creighton game.
Oh, yeah.
And I only watched it, and I laughed because Rick Pitino busted out the complete white suit.
The complete white one, huh?
Have
Like
you not seen this? I'm like, it was white pants, white shirt, white jacket,
like the plane,
white shoes.
the plane.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Maybe our guest, being that it is the Final Four in Birmingham, it is big time now. I mean, this is it. You only got 32 minutes, 64 minutes to win a state championship. It all comes down to this. Maybe Craig McGill can bust out a skyline-colored suit for today's game.
Well, I mean, I know he's back at his alma mater to win a state championship. And the one thing I know, just in the very recent past, just a few years ago, the ladies won their first. From the days of QK Carter and my father telling me about Skyline Viking basketball, I know they've been to state. I was surprised that they haven't won it. And I know this is probably one of his big motivations. And, of course, he's doing something that's very rare. He's coaching both the boys and the girls programs, and both of them have a rich tradition, tons of support, and he nearly got both of them to the Final Four, the ladies losing to probably the best team in 1A basketball in Spring Garden, but they beat a very good Spring Garden boys team in the Elite Eight to 58-51 to reach the Final Four. And they'll be taking the floor at 1:30 today in the final game of the opening day of 1A competition. And Craig McGill has been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline in anticipation of this state semifinal for Skyline. Coach, it is an honor to have you back. Good morning. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate what you guys do for high school, not only sports in general, but high school sports. And it's an honor for me to be on here today. And I do not own a suit. I do not own a tie.
You're my kind of guy. There's no suit. No suit. I'm not a suit guy.
Yeah, I'll have on my J's. That's as nice as
there you go.
There we go.
There we go.
That has been the trend, though, with college basketball. You know, the whole Jordan shoe thing this year. Especially for coaches and stuff. That's where everyone's going this year.
Yeah, that's right. I got my Kelly green and blacks on, man. We'll be looking good in our feet anyway.
Well, it's a good time, Coach. Good time for Skyline. I got to, before we delve into everything, how difficult was it this year to do both the boys and girls team? I mean, it sounds like a tough, tall task, but how was it to balance coaching both programs?
It was. I was expecting it to be a lot tougher, but I think my staff. I mean, I've got a great staff, and I think I made them do a lot of things that they probably didn't want to do, but I kind of dictated and made them do some things, and I thought it was pretty easy. I mean, I'm kind of bummed out I'm not coaching 2 today. I mean, that one, I was like, man, this is the first time all year I'm only coaching 1 game. I don't know what that's going to be like. But it went smooth, and I mean, when you got the kids that we have, man, our kids are so good, and they can run their own programs. We just got to stay out of their way most of the time.
Well, and I know when you took the job, being an alum, but I talked to someone that knows you well, and they said this was your plan immediately. I mean, you had a great program that you built at New Hope, so you weren't looking to move, but this was a unique opportunity and one that you wanted to take. And you have a son that's already in coaching. Your kids are growing. You wanted to do this and take on both programs.
Oh, absolutely. I'd never in the past really thought about going back home. Never really wanted to go back home. I thought it'd be cool to get into toward the end of my career. I still got a ways to go, but when the jobs came open, I was like, when coaches take them Skyline jobs, they don't leave.
Right.
They stay till they retire. I might not ever get another chance. So I jumped on it, and it was the best decision I ever made going back home. Man. And I do want to give New Hope's props.
Yeah.
New Hope was super good to me, man. That place, I love that town. I love that community. I love those kids. And there's only one job I would have left for, and it was Skyline.
Talk about the journey then to Birmingham for this boys team. You got to go through Jacksonville State. You make it. You get 2 big wins there. Now it's on to the biggest stage.
Mm-hmm.
It is. These guys, they've worked hard. They bought in from day one. They got beat in the region finals last year. That's been their motivation all year. They wanted the unfinished business, what they kept saying, and we just. I don't really think we've taught them much. I mean, they were taught well. Coach Rao did a good job. I think what we did is just come in and put in a little defense, our defensive system, and teaching them what good shot and bad shot is. And they've done the rest. I mean, we really haven't done anything. We're not geniuses. We haven't done anything special. Those guys are just special kids, man. And they had 2 big wins at Jacksonville. Spring Garden's really, really good. That Faith Christian team, people don't understand how good they were late in the season. I mean, they beat the number 1 team in 4A, White Plains. I mean, they were really, really good and really, really skilled. But I just felt like we locked in defensively and had great preparation, and our guys just come out and won 2 big games.
Well, and Coach, talk about the kids. I mean, you know, we talked about an alum that is a big supporter of ours, Brian Bellamy, who's a very proud Skyline graduate.
Yeah,
of course, he watched. He had a relative that was on the ladies' team that won it all, and that was very big for that community. And this would be big for the boys to get it done. But talk about, the guys that performed well for you in the regional that are going to have to play well later this afternoon against a very talented Georgiana team. I know that's very, very athletic, Coach.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, talking about Brian's been great. Brian, we did a thing before the season, and we brought Brian in to speak to the team, and we just want successful alum to come talk to our players before the season starts, and he done a great job, and he's been a supporter from day one. But our guys, I mean, it all starts with Brian Kinnemer. I mean, our point guard, he's the coach on the floor. The kid, the other day he's got the prettiest mullet you'll ever see. I mean, it's beautiful. But that guy's he runs the team, and he does a great job, and just a great player. I mean, if he's 3 inches taller, he plays anywhere in the country he wants to play. He gets us going. He runs the offense. He's a great defender. And then Zaire Golden, our center. He's our go-to. When we need a bucket, we go to Zaire. We got Jaden Prince. He's a senior as well. He's been a 4-year starter, Skyline. We got 2 juniors. Will Avens, he's got the second prettiest mullet in the OSC. He's a double-double guy most nights. He didn't have a real good game against Spring Garden, but he'll redeem himself tonight. And then we got another junior, Scott York, who starts it out, and he's our shooter. And he when we need a bucket most of the time, I don't know how, but he always ends up making a big 3 when we need one.
Well, Coach, you look at it and you get down to the BJCC. Shooting at Jacksonville State is one thing. Shooting in the backdrop there at the BJCC can be completely different. Just talk about the challenges today. Talk about the challenges playing in Birmingham and against a tough Georgiana team.
Oh, Georgiana, man, they're super. Like you said, man, they're super athletic. They put up a lot of points. Our keys today is just going to try to keep them out of the paint. If we can keep them in front of us, I think we'll have a chance. But the atmosphere at Legacy is just unlike any other. And I tell my guys all the time, big time players make big time plays in big time games, and I don't expect no different. I've tried to tell them it is a little different, but we play on a 10-foot goal just like it's in there every day. So let's just go out there and do what we do every single day.
Using a little bit of Hoosier reference right there on the 10-foot goal.
That's it. That's where I got it. Normandale's my hero.
There you go. I love it. I told this to Robbie Coker, and he's won a few of them. I told him, I even asked this in the postgame one time. I said, have any of you guys seen Hoosiers? And they looked at me like I was cross-eyed. And I said, Coach Coker, man, you've got to get this team together after they win it and watch this movie. You have to watch this movie.
The number 1 basketball movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time.
It's got to be. For any basketball person.
We might run the picket ladder today.
No picket fence.
Picket fence.
There you go. Well, but, Coach, I will say, with your guys, I know they're hungry for this. As you said, they've had unfinished business. I mean, you talked about keeping Georgiana in front of you, keeping them out of the paint. What are a couple of the other keys for you guys? I would assume also, taking good shots, winning the rebounding battle. Just kind of talk about the keys for Skyline.
Oh, yeah. Those dudes are super athletic. Like I said, we want to keep them out of the paint, and we got to keep them off the glass. They do a good job pressuring the basketball, and we're going to have to take care of it. If we can take care of it, keep them off the glass and keep them in front. And then my bench guys, Jake, Christian, Landon, Brody, Sam, if they'll come in and do their job, I really honestly think that we've got a chance. You said it earlier. Couldn't believe Skyline had never won one, but this is actually just their second Final Four in the history of the school in boys basketball. So 94, 30 years ago, they went to the Final Four. And so we're looking to get in that state championship game, try to win that thing for the first time ever. You nailed it on the head. We're using that as motivation. The guys know what's at stake. It should be a lot of fun today.
Skyline head coach Craig McGill joining us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. And Coach, lots of times here we get caught up in the big school, the 7A stuff and the environment and everything. We love to get out into the small towns, but Skyline is traveling there, and you mentioned it, just their second ever Final Four. What's this journey been like for the community? How much is this for the community more than it is for anything else?
Ain't nobody left in the town, man.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I mean, what is this run meant for everybody?
It's just been surreal. I mean, I can't explain it. Yesterday, we left. We had practice at 12:30, and we left at 2, and we get out there, and nobody even set it. I mean, nobody at school set this up, but we had the whole town was there. As we were walking down the sideline, just cheering them on, going crazy, man. It's just a great experience for our kids, for our school, and our community. Like you said, we're a town of about 3,500, and I expect about 3,400 to be here today. The other ones just have to work.
Oh, I know. They will.
That's amazing.
They will be in the gym, loud and proud. And
it gives you chills, though, when you say that there was.
Does.
I mean, it gives you
great.
chills that the community rallies behind these kids like they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, it like when I come out, I couldn't believe it. Like, I'm not into all that hoopla stuff, but for our kids to experience that, man. And when we got on the bus, that's what I told them. I said, you can't tell me this ain't special for this community, and they don't want it. And they don't believe in you. So maybe our guys will show up and just do what they do every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if they can get this win over Georgiana, I don't put it past the Skyline for bringing home the blue map, and I certainly hope they do for North Alabama and that community. It's a great one. Well, Coach, you're always generous with your time. We know you got a game to continue to prepare for. Good luck to you later this afternoon, and we're certainly going to be rooting the Vikings on. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and go Vikings.
Thanks. Craig McGill.
No white suit.
He doesn't wear a suit.
White suit anyway. What the hell? I mean, I've worn a white sweatsuit. That was a big pain in the ass. I had to wash it so quick.
One of these days, I'm going to get you in a suit.
Not in that kind of suit. Give me a break. I was lucky to wear a jacket to the friggin' to our
Rocket
sports
City
awards. Yeah, our Rocket City Awards. I wore a jacket. And pants that were too long.
At least you had pants on.
Well, come on. We're not going to be like a Zoom call with no pants on. That would be Jeff.
Have you been? Okay. Let's get a break in. We'll wrap it all up next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Got a wreck at Governors and Gallatin, just reported. That one's coming in with injuries. Had one on 231 north of Grimwood that's reported as an injury type, and haven't heard an update on that one in Morgan County near Kateka, 36 and Red Oak Road. That's east of 67. That one came in as an injury type. Expert heart care backed by advanced technology. When you need cardiac care, you need the heart doctor. Dr. Randall Burns and the team at Huntsville Heart Specialist on Bob Wallace Avenue. Captain Nick in the Jordan Lane Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com. The End Zone Sports Bar has done it again. This time, they're bringing their jumbo wings, handcrafted burgers, Tex-Mex, and New York-style pizza to the Midtown District with their new location on McMurtry Drive Northwest opposite the Target Plaza. Tuesdays at the End Zone means half-price burgers, and Wednesday is $1 jumbo wings all day long. The End Zone also features Sunday ticket for all your NFL viewing. The newest End Zone Sports Bar in the Midtown District on McMurtry near the Target Plaza. Get in the End Zone.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at GenSuperstore.com.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
All right, welcome back. Talking Ball 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Your tomorrow's headlines today, and I am sure you saw this. For the first time in school history, the Sanford Bulldogs,
Buckyball,
are SoCon regular season champions for the first time in school history.
Yeah, man, it's awesome. Bucky McMillan and those guys get it done the regular season. They're going to be the number 1 seed in the SoCon conference tournament. Now, they got to win it to get to March Madness, but definitely Bucky's done an amazing job.
If he has another good year next year,
hell, it might be this year with some jobs opening up.
I'm just gonna say, I mean, bigger group of fives. I mean, what about a Power 5 job for Bucky McMillan? Is he on that is he on that doorstep right now?
Well, I mean, I would equate it to what Steve Forbes has done. Steve Forbes is, of course, at Wake Forest,
right?
And he did this at East Tennessee State, and then bided his time and eventually went to Wake Forest. Okay. I could see, and he went from group of 5 to Power 5. I could see Bucky, and there's going to be some jobs open up, but I could see him being under consideration this year. This is the first year he's won the league, but if he puts 2 or 3 of these years together in a row, which could very easily happen with SoCon Freshman of the Year next year, Caleb Harrison. Could happen.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. But the big skill, who, by the way, it was his birthday this weekend. Happy birthday to Caleb Harrison.
He was at the UAH game on Saturday.
Good.
He's a frequent visitor to UAH games.
Yes. He loves basketball. And so I just think overall, if Bucky continues to do that, then yes, his name, because his name has started to come up with the Jeff Goodmans and the Matt Norlanders and
he's
all
getting
these
the
guys.
national attention.
You know, Jeff Borzellos, all the national basketball heads are starting to talk about him. So yes, I think he could get some buzz this year, but in the very near future, of course. Bucky has always been ahead of his time. I mean, what's amazing is that the staff that he put together at Mountain Brook, a lot of them are with him there's a few of them that are with him at Samford, but I'm just saying he's got 3 prominent head coaches. And Stu Studeman won a state title a couple years ago. Tyler Davis won one his first year replacing Bucky. His team played for a state championship last year. Is back in the Final Four this year. And Christian Swears is now got Huntsville High to the Final Four. He had an amazing, I want to call it, organization that he built at Mountain Brook. And he was, of course, lauding them the other day. But on social media, and he should. He built a great program at Mountain Brook, some great coaches, and he's doing it on the college level. He is again, one of the greatest high school coaches in the history of this state, and he's going to become one of the greatest coaches, period, just because he's such a grinder and a worker and such an amazing coach. Bucky McMillan, I've always admired him. The first time I ever laid eyes on him when he came to the Huntsville City Classic when he was in his late 20s, he has always been ahead of his time, and he'll continue to do big things in college basketball.
We got to get a huge congratulations out to our good friend Hunter Royer. He picked up career win number 400 for the Chargers over the weekend. So
he's been doing it a while, man.
He did. We meant to do that at the very top of the show because
congrats to Hunter.
Great, I'm sure Grady and them were listening on the way to school, but we didn't get to it on the top. But yeah, Hunter got it. He's already the winningest coach.
We've got to get Grady to join our March Madness pool.
We can probably make that happen. But I tell you what, we got to get a 24-hour break in. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning.
Hello, sports fans! The Alabama State Senate will soon decide if you get the right to vote on a lottery, casinos, and sports betting. But they need to hear from you. Did you know Alabama is one of only 12 states where you can't legally bet on sports? House Bill 151 allows you to choose whether you can place a bet on the big game this weekend. Call your state senator today and tell them to vote yes on the lottery and gaming bill. For more information, go to sportsbettingalliance.org. Paid for by Sports Betting Alliance.